There's a place called a gin mill way down in the slums. There's a place called a gin mill way down in the slums. My baby goes that night.
Hey,
Whoever wants to do it.
welcome back. Another edition of Blind Pig Confessions.
Here we go. That's what we do.
Yep.
We are on the road.
Yes.
We're up in Milwaukee.
Been a great trip so far.
It has been a great trip.
This is our third show of the trip. We got one more this afternoon, but we are at Lakefront Brewery.
Yeah, get it right.
So this is one of the first craft beers I actually got to experience in Milwaukee. It was probably 10 years ago now, I think, was the first time I came here, something like that.
Sounds about right.
But a very amazing place, and we have a couple of guests on with us from Lakefront today. If you guys want to introduce yourselves for us.
Sure, I'm Russ Klisch, president of Lakefront Brewery.
Excellent.
And I am Michael Stadola. I am the brand manager
Awesome.
at Lakefront Brewery.
Nice to have you.
So tell us a little bit about the history of Lakefront. So when did Lakefront get started and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I guess the story goes is back around 1981, I bought my brother a kit on how to make beer. And he brewed some beer, and he liked it, I liked it, and I decided to brew, and we both started to brew, and everybody told us they liked the beer, so it went to our heads, and we thought, well, we should start a craft brewery. And we didn't have much money back then, and we didn't have a rich uncle, so we decided, instead of trying to start a big brewery, we'd start a brewery as small as possible to lose the least amount of money. And so we basically built a 55-gallon stainless steel drum brewery in an old bakery building about 2 miles north of here.
Okay.
And then we just nickeled and dimed ourselves larger with used dairy equipment, and got up to about 3,000 barrels, and eventually we moved back down to this place in 1998. The city of Milwaukee basically gave us the building. It was going to get torn down if we didn't buy it. And so we took it over, and ever since then we've been increasing, innovating. There have been a lot of innovative beers throughout the years. First gluten-free beer, first organic brewery, first brewery that used all indigenous ingredients, including yeast, to make a beer. A lot of other specialty beers that we're in the forefronts of, from smoked beer to pumpkin beer to other styles that we've done along the way. So we felt we've done a lot of innovative things.
What were those first staples that put you on the map beer-wise?
The first ones we did were lagers here. It was kind of a lager town with River West Stein and our Pilsner beer, but we were the first ones in Wisconsin to do an ale. I remember that. That
Really?
was kind of interesting.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, I mean, everything, Pilsners and lagers around here historically, yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, Milwaukee has so much rich beer history going back, years and years and years. When people commercially think of Milwaukee, they think of Pabst, they think of Miller, they think of those, which are predominantly lagers. Those are
Right.
So definitely a big German influence, and German beer styles predominantly flow in Milwaukee. And with the craft beer scene, I think that's been able to introduce the people of Milwaukee to a whole different style of beer that they've a lot of times never had before, because you guys were such a lager Pilsner town before, craft brew was around.
When we first started out, we did lagers. One of the reasons we did them was because tankage was very cheap. You can get so many dairy tanks here for $1 a gallon is basically what you could buy one for back in the day.
Oh, wow.
It was exceptionally inexpensive compared to, like, if on the West Coast or whatever, they bought the unit tanks, expensive tanks. They had to turn the tanks quicker, so they always put ales in them. And that was one of the main reasons they did ales and we did lagers here, just at the price of the tank. But no, we started coming up with different styles. It was a big imported town, even though that they had a large amount of the Millers and the Pabst here in the past. But talk to distributors and they'll tell you how much Hacker Shore and everything else they ever sold around here back in the 80s and 90s. So people still appreciated great beer in the town. It wasn't just those brands.
Yep. That's awesome. And walking in, I saw that you guys have won numerous awards. Great American Beer Festival and the World Beer Cup, and
Just a couple.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. It's like a As you walk in the building, there's this big hallway, and on both sides, there's nothing but awards all the way down as you walk in, which is just fantastic. We definitely love to see that when we go into craft beer companies and how far you've come with that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I always wanted to show how the awards you've won. You're proud of those. It's a good barometer of what kind of brewery you are, and you might as well let people know of when they come in the door.
When you have so many different craft breweries you can choose from, sometimes you're hesitant to walk into one because you don't know if you've never been there. But when you walk in and you see all those awards on the wall,
Pretty easy sell, yeah.
You're going to be getting some quality brew. I mean, it speaks for itself when you walk in and you see awards from World Beer Cup and places where there's so much competition at those. We have a lot of friends that have put stuff in back home there and come home with medals, but there's a lot of competition from what we understand. It's tough to get to those medals, so those are great achievements.
One of the most impressive beers that we have is one that Russ is drinking right now called Eastside Dark. It's our most award-winning beer, and a few years back it even won. There was a Marzen style competition in Munich.
Yes.
And it won.
Wow.
It won where they invented that style.
Oh, no doubt. Wow.
That's awesome.
That's pretty
So
awesome.
that
That is
was
incredible.
And it's a great beer. It's Eastside Dark, but it's very, very, very drinkable, very light, very, very on style, very good.
I also saw that you had several food awards as well. So when did you guys start your food program?
Well, we had in our beer hall. Our beer hall was originally managed by another organization that just did the food part.
Yeah.
Until we realized that it was something that we could do ourselves. So we've been doing that for about 10 years now, Russ? Or?
Just about, yes. Yeah, so back then it was basically just catered events or weddings and things and that sort. We're here plus a Friday night fish fry, but
Well, where is there not a Friday night fish fry in Wisconsin?
yeah, everybody's got one, but yeah, we are also famous for our tours. We have, unfortunately, we're not doing them now because of the pandemic, but we wanted to have food and other things to go along with it, and so we have award-winning cheese curds and other pretzels and other staples of Milwaukee.
Of course.
I've Pat and I both have actually been on the tour.
Yeah, we did that about 6 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, maybe.
And you're right. It's from all the tours I've taken, you guys really take time, and there's a lot of pride, and there's a lot of you can tell how much your people love what they do. Like they're passionate about it, and that comes out on your tour a lot. And I think that's part of what makes that tour so fascinating is everybody loves what they do here, and everybody's happy to be here. A lot of the craft brewers, it doesn't feel like a job. You guys work super, super hard, but at the same time, you're so passionate about it that you love every minute that you're here, no matter how hard you're working. That definitely shines through.
On our tours, we generally hire, improv comedians or regular straight-up comedians because, they just present the information in such a fun way, in such an interesting way, and everyone is allowed to write their own script. As long as they hit the all the main notes, all the main points, which there isn't much because there isn't many ingredients.
No,
it's a pretty simple process.
Right.
So they have a lot of fun with it, and when we've been all over the country in different beer festivals, of course, and we hear more than anything else. Man, I've been there. I've been on the tour. It was so awesome. It was the best thing around. And
yep.
Now, do you tell the people that? Do they know? The people on the tour?
They're
do they
comedians,
know,
or they
comedians,
just
or
no?
You don't say. You don't let them know. Right?
I'm not sure if we disclose that. I mean,
I don't
it's
think
not
so.
a secret.
No. I literally
No, I just didn't
they
know.
were
They're just
so
funny people.
That's funny because literally when I took the tour, I thought they worked here as passionate as they were about what they were doing. I literally thought they were part of your staff.
That's good. It's working.
Well, I mean, technically, they are part of the staff. They're not brewers or
Right.
They are tour staff, and they're here to let people have a great time.
Yeah, it is. It's so much fun. Absolutely. Wow, that looks good.
Holy crap! So I got my food delivered. We did get beer too. We're gonna get here rolling through some of the beers, and I ordered a poutine, and I got a vat of poutine. That is a large plate of poutine.
It looks delicious. So,
Excuse me.
So we know we were supposed to be here in March with you guys, and obviously that didn't happen. But how have you guys been through this whole thing? You guys been okay, keeping up?
We're keeping up. It's a struggle, especially in the beer hall here, trying to get the social distancing going and trying to do the proper thing. But the brewery actually had a record July, but August was solid. But a couple of those months were down, mostly because of the accounts are being closed.
Mm-hmm.
And that was tough, and it concerns us going into winter too. How many people are going to be going outside? Milwaukee had a great patio business this past summer,
Right.
so we saw a lot of draft on that. But going forward, it's going to be a question mark.
Yeah, unless you're enclosing in your outside stuff under tents and things, it's not really always pleasant in December for an outside patio beer.
But you guys distribute, and you have a pretty large distribution area, correct?
Yeah, we're in about 25 states.
Yeah.
Because we make the gluten-free beer,
Right.
And that's one of the most popular gluten-free beers in the country.
Oh, wow.
And
Is that called the grist?
New grist.
New grist. Okay.
That will be what's in my glass right now.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
you're drinking gluten-free beer there.
Yep. I mean, I don't have like a gluten allergy or anything. It's just I like gozas.
That's a great goza.
Oh yeah, it is. That's spectacular.
And you guys have had that for quite a while, because I saw that when I was here last. I saw that already. So how long have you been doing the gluten-free?
2005 we started.
Okay, so
Back way
quite a
before
while.
yeah.
And that wasn't even heard of.
No, back in those days,
no.
people didn't understand what gluten was, or this condition. Unless people had the condition.
So did you know somebody personally
That's
that
where I was
had a
going.
gluten allergy, or did you just? How did you come up with the idea to do a gluten-free beer?
I got a call from a doctor in Houston, kind of a strange story,
Yeah.
and he told me to make a gluten-free beer, and I asked him, like, why are you asking me? Because he says, well, I'm from Wisconsin, I just had your organic beer, and if you can make organic beer, you can make gluten-free. and then he told me 1 out of every 500 people in the United States have this condition, and that piqued my interest, because I thought, that would sell a lot of beer.
Sure.
Right.
And then I worked up the courage to go talk to my head brewer about it and see, well, do you want to try to make some beer without any barley or wheat? And,
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to tell me I'm crazy. And then he told me his dad's a celiac and he never drank a beer with him. And he said,
wow.
I'd love to do this.
Well, that's
They
great.
love
The
my
personal
beer.
tie-in.
Yeah, that's
then.
crazy.
Yeah, and so I had a
Okay.
personal tie-in with our head brewer Luther, and so he's been, because of that, he has an emotional attachment to the fact he wants to make a great beer for his father, nothing else.
That's really neat.
How do you do? I mean, yeah, that's got to blow his mind though. It's like, see all this stuff you normally make beer with? No.
Don't use it. Yeah.
Well, especially back in those days, nobody really did any of this
Yeah.
before, and you're doing the pioneer thing, kind of come out. How are you going to get the sugars out of here? How are you going to get a good flavor? How are you going
Right.
to get head retention? How are you going to get the yeast to eat something that's not going to fall the bottom of the tank? All these different things.
Isn't it a sorghum? Isn't that used in the process there
yeah,
somewhere?
sorghum and rice is what we use.
Yep.
Okay.
They're go through a lot of trials to nail that.
Yeah, we've been, I could
Yeah.
say, after since 15 years to get it where it is right now, and it's very good. You
How is
bring
it,
it to
Pat?
beer festivals, and you don't tell people it's gluten free, and they'll come back and order it again. I love
Yeah.
this.
No, I it's some of those early things you think it's going to be very bland and plasticky or just chemical, something you had to manipulate it to make it taste like beer. And no, the Goza, or at least from the Goza side, the Goza one I'm having with was the new grist Goza with lime. Spectacular, clean. All the right notes are there. A little bit is there a little what salt? Do you guys have special salt you use or anything, or any for the Goza?
It's sea salt.
I didn't know if you had like the pink Himalayan and from the shores of the Milwaukee River.
So the sorghum, what is that exactly? Like, is it like a?
It's a plant.
It is a plant. Okay.
It's a cultivated plant. It grows in the southern part of the United States. It's a lot used for cattle. And during the Depression, everybody was making sorghum syrup. A lot of times they put it on pancakes. There is sugars in there, and there's a unique flavor to sorghum that's nice, and it kind of gives that body and gives the beer some flavor. As compared to some of the other gluten-free ingredients that don't have as much flavor.
Because rice really doesn't add much flavor, right?
No.
It just adds a little starch to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To pull the sugars out of. Because rice is just kind of a bland plant in general. I mean, there's just rice.
Uh-huh.
So I was just curious about that because I knew that sorghum was what was used, but I just wasn't all that familiar with what it was. So
Yeah, it's just the way you use it, the proper way to use it to get the flavor without overdoing it.
mm-hmm.
This dry hopped is amazing. That's
All right, so
Yeah.
so I had the Goza. What are you guys having? And then what are you drinking right now? And then have him let us know.
I think
Which one did you
most
get?
of us are having the double dry hop Kvike
Yeah, I believe that was his recommendation right when we got.
hazy, and it's if you're not familiar with Kvike yeast have been handed down and held on to by families in Norway, not unlike a sourdough starter.
Okay.
How it would be cared for and fed
Right.
and handed down through generations. And there are, I don't know, hundreds or thousands of families who have done this in Norway
Really?
for a long, long, long time.
Really?
And now, someone, kind of made this public, and there are now, big-time yeast companies, White Labs, whatnot, that have a handful of these family yeasts. A lot of them are named after the families. And people are starting to make beers out of them, and it's just something a little different, a little more unique.
Right.
And we've been experimenting with Kvikes for, I don't know, about almost a year now, or going on a year.
Oh, it's that young then. You guys just
Yeah,
started.
it's pretty new, and I think you'll see more and more of them out there.
It's funny to hear that. It's funny to see that there are yeast brokers now, basically.
Yeah. This is craft beer is a big game now.
Well, I know, but I mean, it's just so strange to think. Oh, well, all these people have all these old recipes and old things, and they're just kind of, now they made a business out of it and make some money on something they were just trying to hand down over generations to do their own thing.
Demand's
It's
there.
just strange,
Take
man.
it.
So what's the flavor profile on this one from you guys? I'm not drinking it, so
Oh, I think it's
I
fantastic.
don't know what the notes are. I don't know. I mean,
It's citrusy, but it's creamy. The IPA portion, I think it has like the best balance of hops in it for it being a hazy. I mean, I love it. I could literally drink it all day.
It's delicious. Yeah, it's especially a great afternoon beer. I think just the big citrus pops and absolutely delicious.
A really good hazy is really comforting, and I think that comes from the creaminess, which probably comes from oats. Is there oats in this
I
one?
think there is some oats in there.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Which really kind of gives it a really nice mouthfeel and overall flavor.
so are you quite? And I'm trying to remember. Did they split off hazies and Nipas, or is it still, in the JG? Was it?
I don't
my
think
brain not
so.
working.
I think it's still one category.
Well, no, I didn't know.
In the GABF, there's
GABF, yeah.
the category is hazy, juicy and hazy beers.
Okay. Well, I know because everything's been Nipas for a while now. Would you classify this as a Nipa or not as much juice in it? I wasn't sure if they've really split those out or if hazy is just the name they're changing around. Because in Indiana, everything's a Nipa. There's not a lot of hazies. There's a lot of Nipas.
Yeah.
And they're the super juicy ones. You kind of want to have them really fresh, obviously, before things kind of settle down. So,
Well, they
I
call
was just curious.
they call the Hazy Rabbit, which I was drinking downtown at Bar None, I think it was.
Yeah.
They had the Hazy Rabbit on tap, which you guys do call a New England.
Yeah.
And that
A
one,
New England style, yeah.
which is delicious as well, by the way. But they're very similar. I mean, a New England IPA and a hazy IPA, there's definitely a huge.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much
Same thing.
interchangeable, right?
Yeah.
That's what he was. I think that's what Pat was trying to ask.
I wasn't
Is that
sure if
name
they'd split it out.
interchangeable as far as like judging goes? You can call it either one.
They're both in and they're in the same category.
Yep,
As
that's
of
what he
right
was-
now.
Okay.
Okay.
We have developed another beer that's a sister beer to our hazy, which is called Juicify. That beer will be coming out in November.
Oh, sweet.
And it is a juicy beer, kind of like hazy, but it's not hazy all. It's clear.
Yeah.
That's the base. Outside of flavor, that's the basic difference between the two.
Gotcha.
It's
But,
fun too talking to brewers. Some people have a issue with the New England IPAs and juice. It's just funny.
It's been a weird thing down in Indiana. At least down in Indiana, it's very.
Some brewers are completely against brewing it.
Yeah.
They won't do it.
Won't do Nipas.
I had a best friend growing up, and in high school, he hated anything that became popular.
Right.
and I think there's a lot of beer geeks out there, a lot of hardcore people that, if a certain style becomes all the rage, it's suddenly
Don't want anything to do with
poison.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can understand that.
There's some beer. We found that there's some brewers that are just straight traditionalists. Period. The end. There's only to them there's pilsners, there's lagers, there's ales. There's a Heffy. That's it.
Or
There's
yeah.
nothing outside the outside that realm, and if there is, then it's an abomination.
Right.
So-
Well, I mean, ultimately, we are a business.
Right? No, I
And
agree, and I
we
enjoy
depend
them.
we depend on our fans, our customers to pull something from a shelf.
Right.
And no matter, it's just like the pumpkin thing that's been flaring up over years now.
yeah.
That everyone hates pumpkin, but whenever we're at the GABF, the first keg that kicks.
It was a pumpkin.
Pumpkin.
The pumpkin.
Oh yeah.
I've had your pumpkin. It's delicious too.
I think we did it on a show.
Yeah,
I think we had the
absolutely.
pumpkin. Yeah.
And we for fun every year we did the Great Pumpkin Hunt at home.
Yeah.
We would buy pumpkin beers from all the local craft breweries and then sample them out on the show, and we do like our own internal contest for who we thought had the best pumpkin batch that year.
Yeah.
Just for fun, because it is something different. And I do like different style beers, and I enjoy the more modern style beers as much as I do the traditional. I mean, I love a great traditional lager, but sometimes a New England or a hazy on a hot summer day, it just tastes better.
It just and that's what it comes down to, is that the taste.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
taste.
So on your pumpkin lager, are you using fresh pumpkin, or is it just? Are you dumping just pumpkin pies into it or anything? There's some people do.
We're using Libby canned pumpkin
Okay.
in there, but we the secret to me to pumpkin beer is the spices.
Yes.
You know,
And not being heavy-handed.
Not being
Nutmeg
heavy-handed.
is a
It
crazy
is just very. When you put them in, usually put them later in the boil. How long you have them there. You can't have too much spice. Can't have too little. I mean, you never have if you ever have a pumpkin pie, you never really want to taste the pumpkin. You really taste the spices.
right.
Exactly. And that's I think where some of it gets, though. They get heavy-handed in that nutmeg area and cinnamon and stuff, and you're just like, all right, so it's all spice at this point, and
Right. It comes down to, you can have a beer and then you probably
Done.
won't order a second.
nope.
Right.
But Russ's big quote these days is, a great beer is after you have two, you want a third.
Yes.
And a lot of pumpkin beers.
Sure.
I would equate our pumpkin beer to a Lay's potato chip,
Got to keep going.
in that it's the first few seem kind of boring, but the bag's gone after 5 minutes.
And those are the ones I like, because we've tried so many pumpkin beers, and they're chemical or they're they're straight up novelty one and dones. There's been a couple places though that like Beer Brewery down in Indiana, they make a solid pumpkin ale.
Yeah.
Like their pumpkin is solid every year. It's just very light and nice to drink, and you can have more than one because it's not a dessert. It's not a dessert beer. It's just
Right.
a beer with that kind of flavor to it. It kind of gives you a little nostalgia, gives you a little feeling on that, and for that time of year, and it's pretty awesome. But yeah, it's a tough hunt trying to make those and find good ones. So
something I
congratulations.
haven't asked anybody this trip up here is, not this year, obviously, because of everything going on, but in a typical year in Indiana, the brewers go to festival after festival after festival after festival after festival. I assume, is that the same for you guys up here? Because Milwaukee's like known for its festivals even more than Indy would be.
Yeah, we would have festival every weekend or something going on, especially in the summer. Winter kind of dies down somewhat, but this year it's nothing.
Well,
Right.
yeah.
And we know this year is totally different than any other year, because usually we go to the festivals at home, because we can talk to everybody at once, and there's just certain festivals we go to, and we had nothing either. But I just wondered, being that Milwaukee is such a festival-known and festival-heavy city, how much, that does for you guys going out there all the time.
Well, it certainly gives us a little bump, to the bottom line, because we do sell lots and lots of beer, especially at our largest festival, Summerfest. That's 11 days, and it's just, you can imagine how much beer
Summerfest.
Go through a lot, yeah.
And Summerfest is one of the biggest outdoor festivals in the country,
It's
correct?
the biggest music festival, I believe, in the world. I'm
Oh,
not
really?
sure,
Okay.
but it's
All right.
it's giant.
Yeah,
Wow.
I knew it was big.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize it, yeah.
We usually got a week off of work because my company was based out of Glendale.
Oh, okay.
So we'd all of a sudden get a week off of work because the bosses are at summer.
And then we do lots of beers for Irish Fest. We do a special stout for Irish Fest, Snake Chaser. But all festivals are it's the city of festivals.
Yes.
Here.
Because I knew you guys had Summerfest, German Fest,
Yeah.
Irish Fest.
Yep.
There's a Polish Fest too,
Polish
correct?
Fest.
Polish
Yep.
Fest, Pride Fest.
Everything, huh?
Yeah.
Gotta be, yeah.
Yeah, I knew the city is just in the summer. Normally, this place is just
Every weekend.
it's just
Every weekend.
crazy. It's crazy fun to be in Milwaukee in the summertime.
Yeah, let's try to think of another excuse to drink some beer.
Yes,
Exactly.
I know. It's,
Yeah.
it's like
We need one of those.
yeah. Let's make our problem look acceptable.
And again, like at home,
And just embracing our strengths.
Yes.
Exactly.
at home where all the craft breweries work together. We've already done a couple shows, and Great Lakes mentioned you guys, and Mobcraft mentioned you guys, and so you guys work close with all of the other craft breweries too in town, right? Just everybody kind of helps each other, collabs, that kind of thing.
I gotta say that, and I know Russ wouldn't say this, but Russ is the godfather of craft around these parts, and. If any craft brewery, if I started a craft brewery tomorrow, I could come to Russ and he would help me out.
Yeah, and that's kind of
give me insight and fatherly advice, and he's done that for so many breweries.
And I can tell you from being in the town and doing some shows with them, they feel that, and they let us know that they're like, oh, you're going to Lakefront? Oh, Lakefront, yes. They very supportive of you guys. So that was really nice to see that too. So
every town's got that Russ in the craft brew scene.
Every town should have a Russ.
Yes. If they don't, well, you're doing it wrong.
So do you ever brew yourself anymore, Russ, or do you leave that to the brewers now?
I mostly leave it to the brewers. I do have a hand in helping guide, so to speak, the new products coming out.
Okay.
And so, like what are we having? Like we just came out with the Juicify. How is this going to be different than our New England?
Mm-hmm.
How is it different than a regular IPA?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to make sure it has product differentiation, make sure it's quality, and those types of things is what I guess my voice is right now.
Gotcha. Because I know you said you loved brewing, you loved home brewing. So we talked about this before, but what do you do for a hobby if you're a brewer and you have a brewery like this? You don't brew anymore. What do you do now? So
well, I think Russ actually makes his own kind of homemade Kahlua or homemade Baileys.
Really?
I have tried that. I thought that would be the next thing, and I haven't seen any craft liqueurs, and so I've been trying to play with that. But
that's all. He just keeps that to himself. He doesn't let any of us taste any of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So
heard that before.
When you get tired of paying for it, you just brew it yourself. You just make it yourself, and oh yeah. Well, I'll have to take this batch down so I can make the next batch. And
Right. Well, Russ started out his career as an engineer, so his mind is always working.
We hear that a lot.
That is a lot.
Brewing.
Brewers, there seem to be a lot of engineer brewer,
Lots
previous
of
engineers
yeah.
who like that, figuring out the parts and the pieces and trying to tweak it this, tweak it that.
So it's a big puzzle for you, just trying to figure out how to make it work. That's fantastic. So,
break?
Yep, we can go. Let's go ahead and take a quick break here, and then we'll come back here in about 5.
Yeah, we'll grab another round of something, and we'll go over some of your next beers.
Let's do it.
Cheers. There we go.
If you're a craft beer guy who can't get it nearby, do yourself a favor and log into Taver.
Blind Pig Confessions is the greatest podcast there ever was. My name is Dave Smiley from WZPL, and if you don't listen to this show, you're dumb.
And we're back. Well, we're back. I mean, we were still here, but those of you that end up listening to this, yeah.
So we have a beer in front of us. Let's talk about that one real quick. What are we going to sample first, guys?
All right, this first beer is called River West Stein, and this is our flagship beer. We sell the most of this beer of any other beer.
Color's beautiful.
Yeah, it's this is when Jim, Klish, and Russ were making beers back and forth, trying to beat the brother to the best beer. This was Jim's beer. Jim made River West Stein, and this was the beer that kind of was sent to a lot of the festivals and won a lot of the awards initially. And this was the beer that started this brewery.
I can see why. It's
fantastic. It's
delicious.
an amber lager.
Yep.
There's lots of like caramel and just beautiful, warm, malty notes in there.
Oh that's the color's great. The malt finishes a little bit dry there, just on the back. It's perfect.
It's wonderful.
That is a perfectly clean amber.
This is like when you think of craft beer. At least when I think of craft beer,
Yes.
I think of this liquid.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this is something. Yeah, because everything else was the pilsners and the light, and this just gets that extra little bit of malt in there, and it really just makes it a warm, pleasant beer, like you said. Just something just to chill with, and this is an easy patio beer, fireplace beer. And this one's nice, winter or summer.
Yeah, most definitely.
Because you've always got the winter beers and the summer beers, and this one kind of merges, fills that gap of either time all year round.
And it's right there at the 5.6 mark on the ABV, which is good because you can have several.
Yeah.
That's and sometimes I think that's the great thing about craft beer is if you brew something right in that range where you can have 5, 6, 7, 8 of them, versus some of the really high ABV stuff where you get 1 or 2 and you're like, I may have to cut myself off here because. And I like the high ABVs. They're good. But they're kitschy and fun for a little bit. But I'm not usually having more than one.
Right.
I'll have that one, or I'll finish off with that one. I'll have a few, because usually when you get that, they're so powerful. Whether it be a dark, and Russ has brought out something that Brendan I think was going to tackle him for and just run out the door.
We have very special beers here.
Oh my goodness, that's gonna be beautiful. Mm-hmm. So, where do you want to go? What do you want to try next? Do we want to switch?
Well, we're gonna switch to our straight up IPA.
Okay.
This IPA is, I don't know how long we've been brewing this, Russ.
At least about 2009 or so.
Okay.
Chris Johnson, remember he was here.
Was the IPA craze as big here as it was in Indiana? And I mean, it was just nuts for a while there. Did it?
It's
you guys
still
see that
nuts.
same thing?
It's still the one that's the most increasing in
Oh,
style.
really?
I mean, it's like 40% almost of all craft beer sold right now is IPAs.
Okay.
So when IPAs, and maybe it was different up here, but when IPAs first became a craze, I didn't feel like IPAs at that time were brewed for flavor. They were brewed for punch. Like, how many hops can we shove into this beer to make it as, like, bam bitter as possible? But I've seen, as that's changed, the people are definitely trying to make IPAs much more balanced now. You still get some good hop flavor, but it's not like punch you in the face, knock you down. Who can do the most with it? Is that kind of what you guys have seen as well?
Well, yeah, there was a short period there about 5 to 10 years ago where it was all about the IBUs. And
Yes.
higher than it was like the Colville score for peppers.
Right, exactly.
Like how much can you take?
Yeah.
And taste was kind of thrown to the back.
Yep.
I mean, they were muddling. I mean, you would get a beer and they're like muddling another hop onto it, and they're garnishing. And you're just like, come on, man.
Right. Yep. This IPA, Lakefront IPA, is arguably the best balanced IPA out there. It's got great malt. It's got great hops.
Yes.
It's got great color. It's just I like River West Stein. It's a go-to beer.
And I'm glad I said what I said right before this, because this is the perfect example of what I'm talking about, where it's now become IPAs are balanced. So they're approachable for anybody. There was a time where a novice beer drinker wouldn't touch an IPA because it would just they'd be like done with. They'd be like, nope, I'm done.
And a lot of them it still has a bad reputation
because of that.
With a lot of the female audience. Is they just won't touch it. They won't try.
Well, I think and as I've talked to some of the other brewers and all that, the IBU scale is kind of not really relevant. I've had a lot of them say not really relevant, because I've had a high IBU and it's perfectly balanced. I've had low IBUs where there's just lower IBUs, but then the hop is there because they've tossed a lot in or they've used a different powerful hop. But do you worry about the IBUs at all?
Not really. I mean, we do. Everybody calculates it differently.
Right, like, that's what I'm saying. That seems to be a useless fact then. If everybody can calculate it differently.
You have people that say, there's like 110 IBUs and you can't even put 110 IBUs or something like that in your beer. And they count the IBUs of everything you dry hop and put in a kettle, but that doesn't turn into bitterness.
Right.
But it turns into flavor.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's the flavor punch that's important. It's not the IBUs.
Should be.
And I'm just, like I said, I would used to tell you when we first started the show, the first thing I'd say is, I hate IPAs.
Yeah.
I just don't like them. I don't want to drink them.
We don't do that no more.
No, but then as they started to balance out and become what they are now, I was like, okay, now I can say I love a lot of different IPAs. I just didn't like those slap you in the face ones that were that craze like you were talking about just for a minute. Those were brutal. Like some of those were just brutal to even try to drink.
At the time, at least the time that I've been here, which has been four years now, never one discussion about IBUs.
Right.
Or it's all about flavor. It's all about differentiation.
Well, Russ, do you also think maybe some of the reason it got better was novice hops? I guess the being early brewers, and so all these hops were coming out and all these different flavors, and maybe some of people were very novice in their understanding of which hop does what, and their flavor profiles and all that, and they were just didn't know enough to really worry about flavor. That's what I kind of got as far as some of the conversations I've had. It's just you didn't know enough back then when it first came out, and so everybody was just throwing hop.
We go back to the 90s and everything. Everybody was still trying to make IPAs with Eastern European hops, and there wasn't the cascade. There was the breakthrough where all of a sudden you had some citrus flavor in there, and then the hop growers found out that that can be very marketable to have different types of citrus flavors from melon or mango or something on that sort.
It's like coffee bean, different coffee beans from here or different, and all of a sudden there's all these, they know, and they're making all these different kinds that you can use, and you can make. Instead of trying to force a hop in there just to get the bitterness, to get that hop, you can find the right hop now for what you want to make.
Yeah, compared to the Juicify, I know where that's going to be coming out here, and that's a different hop than we were using for the Hazy Rabbit or for the IPA that we use right now.
Do you have a preferential hop you like?
I like anything citrus.
Yeah.
I think to me that's the great skill in brewing right now. Is how to pull out the hop flavor, and brew with it and have it balanced and have it enjoyable.
The aromatics to it and all that, yeah.
Yeah, and to me that's there's so many different variables that go into creating a great IPA or creating that hop flavor without being overbearing and very drinkable.
Yeah.
And so that's the craft that you see right now in craft beer.
Yeah, we just brewed one with some friends over in Monticello at Copacetic Beer Factory with them, and we used, what did we use? Cashmere and Laurel.
And
what the hell beer style was we were trying to? I think a lemon drop. I think you might have put a little bit of lemon drop or something in it.
Really, lemon drop is really, really nice.
Yeah.
So
It
cashmere, and it's funny because I'm way steeped in branding and advertising. And what has happened to the tidal wave in the hop world is the hops are no longer called H2549.
Right.
They're called Idaho 7.
Right.
And Cashmere and like they're positioning themselves.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of local hop growers? I don't know.
Yeah.
I know more in Indiana now. I know that world kind of expanded up here too. There are a lot of hop growers, or
there are hop growers of different sizes. We actually get hops, and we will be tasting a beer called Wisconsinite here that gets hops and all the malt from Wisconsin.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. Well, speaking of that, is that our next one, or did you want to switch into something else?
We can pour that. We can pour that right now.
Sweet.
Do you explore with other hop? There's so many now.
Oh yeah. We always have a brewer series going on right now where we have two 15-barrel tanks. And so it's part experimentation, and now and then the brewers just say, I want to do this. And we get special hops that come in from Hopsteiner or somebody in that, and it's like, well, let's brew a batch and see what they taste like. And then we put them on tap here.
Nice. How many brewers, how many brewers do you have? Obviously there's a head brewer, but then...
We have like 9.
9?
9 that can run the kettle.
Okay.
So we have 3 different shifts that go, and the cellar people can transfer up to the brew deck.
Sure.
And we got the managers and everything. So we have several different people that can take over in case vacations come up or somebody gets sick or
good
and that sort.
Yeah, it's like, we can't brew today. Why? Because he's on vacation.
So
all right, so
we poured a bunch of beer in glasses called Wisconsinite, and this is a Hefeweizen. So it's got that great kind of banana note in there.
The note right there is the nose is perfect.
Oh, yeah.
It's got it's subtle. It's not overpowering. It's not but a little banana bready kind of. It's awesome.
And this is our official state beer. Circle R.
Is it really?
No, I'm just.
I was like, it's Milwaukee, and your state beer is a Hefe.
I'm just trying to position it, to
marketing guys working right now.
We need to sell some beer. Come on, people.
Marketing guy's always working.
That's delicious. That's
Outstanding.
just, again, another clean, crisp, right on par. Delicious. Again, I could drink that all day.
Yeah, this is. It's. I mean, there's nothing quirky or trickery about this beer. This is a true to style Hefe, and
beautiful Hefeweizen.
it's just beautiful and easy drinking. This was our summer seasonal this year.
Yeah.
It is now turned into a year long.
Yeah. I mean, when I drink Hefes, I drink them in the winter too, but I do think summer. I think summertime a lot with a good Hefe if I'm outside. Refreshing on a hot day, a little bit lighter profile to it. So I definitely, I mean, this is a hot summer day beer for me, mowing the yard or out at the beach, whatever. I'd love to have that in the cooler.
That's I like the fact that at least you still, because I have a lot of, you see some brewers, they try to do their thing and they're trying to make a style, but I like the ones I like breweries and the brewers who can make a true to style one and then go play with it later. But dial in your true to style, because that's going to be some money making beer right there. Because that you're going to turn that over real quick.
You better
and
be
then
able
go
to do that,
and then go play with some other play with some variations of it.
Right.
But a lot of some of the newer ones they go straight into the variant of something, and then it's like, oh well, it's a Hefe style, and it's like, why don't you try to make a Hefe first and let's see how it goes.
It's easy to hide mistakes when you do it.
It is easy to hide mistakes on some of those, but I've been hanging close to the true to style German beers. They're my bread and butter. There's a couple places in Indiana that are really good for that, and making like Dunkels and Rauch beers and some of the European beers, and bringing them with a great craft style to them, and that's where I lean to.
You mentioned smoked beer. Is that something you've done? I couldn't see any rock beer on there, but
Have you done smoked beer?
We've had several one-offs of smoked beer that we've done.
Okay.
We have a series here called My Turn, where we let every employee make their own style of beer 4 times a year.
It's my turn.
Oh, really?
Oh,
It's
that
my
is
turn.
really
And
cool.
so-
neat.
And so we're at number 33 or something right now of different styles, and there's been
I think it's 35.
35.
The
Okay.
marketing guy, come on.
Yeah.
Get your numbers right.
And in that 35 different brews, we've done 3 of them. That
Oh, wow.
Have made it to the tap, or
yeah,
okay.
made it, and we sell it in here. So like right now we have Javar on. He's our guy that drives the fork truck in the warehouse, and it's
Okay.
what, honey lager.
The honey
And-
lager?
I didn't see a honey lager on there. Maybe
we
it's
got
sold
it
out.
I'm not sure if it's on tap right now. It
Ah.
may. I'm not sure.
Coming up.
Is it on the
Yeah, and so when JD just had his, he was an Irish red that he had, and
Awesome.
Johnny's doing I forgot what Johnny. But anyway, so he's the guy in the warehouse, and anybody who works at a brewery wants to brew a beer.
Of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
yes.
And they'll tell you, oh, you got to brew this one. This is my favorite style. This is so great. And so we give everybody a turn, and it's been a big hit around here.
I think that's awesome.
That's
yeah.
got to be great for team morale and all that
Oh,
too.
yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
it's you're not just employees. You're
Yeah, everybody
You're
gets their chance
contributing.
at doing this and trying to make it, and so it's been fun, and there's been 3 rock beers, in that style. So
I love those.
my head brewer is a big German guy. He goes to Bamberg all the time.
Oh.
Schlenkerla, Spezial,
Yep.
been there. Get them
Awesome.
from Environment, get them all.
Awesome. That's great.
And I think everyone's looking forward to the summer of 2025. That's just so happens that's when my beer's coming out. So it's greatly anticipated.
Yes. You're building up all that anticipation for the next several years.
Yeah. So I just poured an Eastside Dark for everyone.
Okay.
Like I said before, this is our most award-winning beer. It's not exactly, and Russ can help me out here, it's not exactly a Dunkel, but it's a Marston's style beer, and it's the one that won, that beat everybody in Munich.
I can see why.
Trying to figure out the nose on it.
It's light on the
Little
nose, but it's-
biscuity,
Get the
little bready,
biscuit
or little
Comparatively speaking,
delicious.
it's pretty light on the nose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, and that's fine. It's there. I was just trying to. It's
Well, Germans never like anything out of balance.
Right.
And so
too much nose and
Yeah, or whatever. But anyway, so this is a very balanced beer between hops and malt and dark. And I think the big thing to me about dark beers is you have to use the dark grain or that is flavorful but not bitter,
Right.
and or overpowering. And so this is a good example to me of flavorful a dark beer that has great dark malt flavor.
Oh yeah.
And this again is like one where sometimes people are afraid of dark beers because in their mind they have a certain idea that it's not going to be for them. But if you taste this is a very drinkable beer. Even if you're newer to the craft scene, that's a very drinkable beer. It's very approachable.
It's a dark beer you can drink throughout the summer.
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
It's another balanced, easy one. Yeah, it's a either summer or winter. Yep.
Yeah, I drink
All right,
that
all right.
lot.
I know I haven't said a whole lot, but I will admit this beer. I'm not a dark beer drinker by any means, but I really like this. This does.
It's
yeah,
good.
This is
and
good.
that's why
This
you
is
can't
really good.
always just assume because it's a dark beer you're not
Yeah,
going to
'cause
like
I've
it.
never been dark beer. Dark beer's never been my thing, but this is really good.
Yeah. So if you ever want to have some fun, blindfold some people and bring out some dark beers and some lighter colored beers and have them try to think what they are. And, and if you put this in front of them, a lot of people probably wouldn't
Oh, I
realize.
never would have guessed it. No, I never would have thought this was.
Plus,
dark beer.
it's always fun to blindfold people.
Yeah, I tried that.
Is that- I was saying, is that-
I'm still in legal problems, but mainly because I didn't know they didn't know who I was, and I just started blindfolding people at tables.
Wow.
Anybody know a lawyer?
That was delicious.
That's awesome. I'm
So-
really loving it.
So we did a show at Great Lakes, so I just want to bring this up. So this was something very unique. They brought you guys' name up when we were sitting there talking to Ross over there, and it was just something unique I haven't heard. So your pumpkin beer actually gets sent over to Great Lakes, and they distill it down into a liquor, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And he said it was whiskey-esque was the best way he could describe it. So how did that all transpire? Because that's kind of a unique thing.
It was probably around 2008, I think, or this is the 10th year of the batch. And anyway, we had one of my marketing guys was rather arrogant back then. He said I could sell all the pumpkin beer you could ever make.
He's sitting right here.
That was not me. It was not me. It
wasn't him. And
I kind of wish it was me, but
now
it was
you do.
not, it was not me.
And that year we sold a lot of pumpkin beer, but we didn't sell it all. And so I turned around. I remember came up to the office and said, like, what are you going to do now with this? With the extra 2 batches we had, we think we sold 8. We had 2 left. And then he just turned around in his chair. He picked up the phone. He said, Guy Rehorse over at Great Lakes, how about we distill some of this pumpkin beer we got here and make some vodka out of it or whiskey.
Something, yeah.
But guys, he's been very innovative. He's put in some wood barrels and making like whiskey out of it now, and we kind of brew it especially for him.
Yep.
And so we do change the pumpkin recipe a little bit.
Okay.
Littler hops.
Yeah, I think he mentioned that you kind of have a side run you do that takes the hops out because distilling the hops can get a little
hops and
troublesome.
distilling
They don't
don't
like
mix.
to. Yeah, they don't like to do that.
Yeah, that's what he said was the first year, the first batch was okay, but it had too much hops in for the distilling process. So then he went back to you and said, hey, we like this so much, let's go ahead and do this, but just take the hops out of it, and we're still going to distill it. And then that's how they got the liquor that they have today.
Yeah.
Which I think they're blending over and aging for several years.
Yeah.
And he has the #1 pumpkin spirit in the United States right now.
Really?
That's awesome.
Because of this.
Yep.
Wow.
And we got to
You're
sit
welcome.
there. We got to sit there and sample it too, and it was unique. I mean, it's just something I hadn't had before.
Yeah.
So
It was pretty awesome.
And speaking of pumpkin, I just poured everyone
There it is.
one of our pumpkins.
Yes.
I watched you pour that, and I thought it was a pumpkin. That's why I let in with that. I was keeping an eye on it.
Brilliance.
Yeah,
You should be in marketing.
I think this is actually one of the first ones I've had from Lakefront because we did the
I brought it-
pumpkin
I
show.
brought it down,
And then
yeah.
we've had plenty since, but I think this was one of the first ones I had. I was like, wow, that's because I do pumpkin. We always do the pumpkin beer hunt, but we don't like.
We don't like
It
most
doesn't go
of
so
them.
well, but this is absolutely amazing. It tastes like a piece of pumpkin pie.
Because again, you get the guys throwing just extract or throwing, there's some kind of chemical flavor to it, or it's too high
way
ABV.
too
It's
much.
not really drinkable, and it's, in some cases. Now we've had a couple where they did go weird, all out, and it was actually pretty good. Who are the guys up in Fort Wayne? Was it Guardian? They think they did. They actually just take the entire pumpkin pie and throw it in.
They actually buy
it
pumpkin
doesn't sound
pies.
messy at all.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
enjoy
yes,
that.
yeah. They said their cleanup is horrible. They do
Yeah.
that with sugar. They do a sugar cream pie
cream,
beer as
yeah.
well. And I know it sounds, but they do some of that wacky stuff, but it works. They said yes, the cleanup is horrid because they literally crust and all because they partner with a pie company. Was it Smith or Mrs. Wicks or Mrs.
Wicks.
Wicks
yeah,
pies,
there you
and they literally will just buy dozens of pies and throw it in.
This tastes like a slice of pie. I mean, it tastes
This
like
is
you're-
delicious.
yeah.
It's not overly sweet, which you sometimes get out of a pumpkin. All the flavors are there, and like you guys said, you don't ever really taste pumpkin per
Yes,
se.
you want spice.
But you taste that balance of spices, which in your brain tells you it's pumpkin pie.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what you get out of this. And I think it's very well balanced out. You did the right amount of spices, and it's just good.
Yeah, so much of flavor comes from nostalgia, comes from your memory.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the mix of spices. It's not necessarily. It's not sweet necessarily. It's not overly spicy necessarily. It's just, again, it's like that Lay's potato chip. It's something that you can drink and
Sure.
drink and drink and.
Yeah.
It screams fall. I mean, I drink this, I'm thinking the leaves are falling, I'm looking forward to
Football.
the campfire and that kind of stuff. So it definitely screams a fall beer to me, and it's delicious.
But it's better than like all the other pumpkin spice crap that comes out this time of year.
Yeah.
I don't need pumpkin spice everything, but I'll take a pumpkin beer that's got some good spice to it.
Well, and it's the only pumpkin beer, as far as I know, in the world that gets made into a liquor. So it's kind of a two-part there, right? I mean, it's got some uniqueness to it that way.
It's a shot, yeah. That's a whole lot of pumpkin beer with a shot with a chaser of the pumpkin, of the pumpkin stuff from Great Lakes.
Take a shot of pumpkin and finish it with a pumpkin lager.
Yeah.
Yep,
Could do that. Is it a
Good.
lager?
It is a lager. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I thought so. Okay. That's awesome.
We know how to lager around
Yes.
here.
Nuh-uh. No.
The land of lagers and cheese?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't have a brewery in Wisconsin and not know how to lager.
Yeah.
We have a lot of our craft breweries don't do lagers.
No,
Back home.
you're just starting to see them.
Yeah.
You're starting to
It's-
see more and more.
Yeah.
But yeah, just starting to see them.
It's
now.
mostly ale. I mean, starts with ales and then has other styles. But there's just not a lot
IPAs
of
and
lagering.
ales.
Yeah.
Have you seen that scene even change with the styles up here, or is, not really?
A little bit. I mean, there's a little more enthusiasm to like pilsners and lagers a little bit, but I haven't really seen it from the Nielsen reports.
Do you take any kind of like yearly trips out to Germany or any other places and just start sampling other beers or things and think about
Well, the yearly
kind of
trips-
research trips?
Well, of course, the GABF I normally went to,
Okay.
and the CBC, and like every 4 years I try to go to Germany,
Yeah.
and then we take, I take side trips here and there, but mostly I listen a lot to my brewers, and marketing people. They're big on to me about what's happening out there, what's going on. I can't do it myself.
Yeah.
Those trips I take are more enjoyable, and you
Okay.
see what's happening, and,
There you go.
and all. But you really do look at the data, like I talked about Nielsen and IRI, and those platforms are the ones you really study and see what people are really doing, or where people are going right now. And even in town here, you have your niche craft breweries that are getting good crowds and doing things like your pastry stouts and things on that sort, which get a lot of buzz, but then it never shows up in a Nielsen report.
Yeah.
Right.
Russ recently went to Italy with his family for like 2 weeks, I think.
2 weeks, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, like,
right
wow.
before COVID.
Well, I'm trying to convince him that I'm his long lost son. But Russ, again, the engineer who's always working, always thinking. He did bring back a few treats, quote unquote treats, for us that were fantastic, and we are currently test batching a lot of stuff that we can't talk about.
Awesome.
Really?
Well,
Cool.
you got to. Yeah, that's got to keep innovating.
Yeah.
Speaking of GABF, I know they canceled it. Obviously, the in-person. Are you still submitting?
Yes.
They're still going to hold the contest. They're hold the judgings and all that, but just nothing in person or anything.
Yeah, no, we've sent 10 I gave my hat off to them that they actually took 10 beers from every brewery out there. I'm not who's doing the judging on this thing, but
Wow.
Wow, that's a lot.
They're just sending them to everybody's houses. They're not really judging. Just that's how everybody's getting their beer for October.
that's about it. Probably a big part of taking all the volunteers in and just saying, which one's good?
Yep.
That's about 60 to 80,000 beers.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. The judging crew on that has just got to be massive. We haven't gotten a chance to go yet. We've wanted to, but
We've talked, and actually we talked about it earlier this year. We said, well, maybe this is the year, of course, pre-pandemic, and we thought, hey, let's plan that out. Maybe we can do it. Yeah, and then no, obviously, that's not happening.
We started planning in January that we were gonna do this.
Come out next year and you can pour for us.
There you go.
Because the lines and the people are just
absolutely.
It's ravenous.
What's funny is I think most of us all have our liquor license to be able to pour anyway,
Yeah.
So you probably don't need one there. Do you need one? I don't know how that even works.
I don't think so.
I just can't imagine it for that day. So does it get bad later in the day? I mean, with the
it gets
people?
It gets bad on Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday night, you don't want to be there.
Yeah, industry night's Thursday.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the most respectable night. And
It's
that's where
great.
the beer, all the beer that's actually in stock is always there too. So
Okay.
Thursday night's always a great night to
It's
go.
a lot of fun. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday day.
Yeah.
You get to Saturday night, and it just it's frat boys
Getting ugly.
with lots of pretzel necklaces.
Well, like we've done, yeah. Well, like they have a big one in Indy called Winterfest, and it's big and it's huge. Well, for us, for the size of the little festivals.
Yeah.
And there's 50, 60, maybe 50 brewers, breweries out there at least.
Yeah, there's definitely 50.
But yeah, by about 4 p.m., 5 p.m., yeah, it's starting to get. You can see everybody.
You can tell who visited.
You can tell who
the
you need to
cask
cut
room
off.
is-
Yeah, the cask room is starting to empty out finally because they've drank all that, and it's frat boys and pretzel necklaces. Yeah, and it starts to get a little
it's a mess.
raucous, and the security has to come in at some point. But
It's a beep show.
yes, at that point, yes. No, you can curse. It's okay. We don't care.
So
what you have in front of you now, I poured another beer,
All right.
is Juicify.
Okay.
And this is our Juicy IPA, which is distinctly different from our Hazy IPA, but kind of sweet and juicy nonetheless.
Yeah.
That's another word that people have issues with too. Juicy.
Yeah, down home.
Why is that?
Where do you?
I don't know.
And what? What do you say is juicy and or a hazy? What's the differential? And because it's weird because some people really do have an issue with it when you say juicy beer.
I think there's a pretty hardcore group of craft people that again just want it for themselves, and they want the crowd to remain small. But as craft brewery grows, it broadens on a flavor basis, it broadens on an audience basis, and God forbid it becomes big beer. But I think Juicy is one of those that appeals to a pretty wide audience.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of really appeals to a lot of females.
Yeah.
Which if you go to the GABF, they are the minority. But it's a lot of people just don't want it to get big.
Mm-hmm.
And things like Juicy and Hazy have a very, very broad appeal.
What other hops in here?
They both looked at each other.
Yeah.
It's like we caught them off guard.
I wish Luther was here right now.
I'm getting a.
It's fantastic. I'll tell you
It's
that.
awesome.
Like, it's amazing. Just an amazing beer.
We did a lot of research, quote unquote research, drinking lots of beer, and we're huge fans of Bodum, which is a great juicy IPA out there right now and very, very hot. And this is as good, if not better, we feel. And Luther is. He's like the top chef back there in the kitchen, and there's lots of things that he'll stand hard against, and and lots of things that he'll love to experiment with. And
All right.
he really nailed it with this one.
Yeah. This is one of those afternoon, just a great afternoon
That's
beer,
sweet. That's
summer
nice.
Beer. Just, yeah, it's delicious. There's a
Yeah, I had to. Sorry, I had to get up. I had to get up. Some friends of mine that actually showed up, and so we're gonna drink some beers later too, and hopefully get them liking Lakefront.
Let's probably take a quick break, and then we'll get into those. I see a special over there that I've been dying to.
There are a few special ones here.
Well, we don't want to eat up all the specials,
no.
but we appreciate you bringing one out to at least let us sample. So that'll be great. All right, let's take a quick break. Be back for like 5.
This is Ross from Great Lakes Distillery. You are listening to the Blind Pig Confessions. Enjoy.
Hey, we're back.
You're the one editing anyways. I don't care.
Yeah. Again, sitting in that Lakefront Brewery.
Big beer hall.
Amazing
Great.
beers. Yeah, so that's just a cool place, man.
Yeah.
Just, I love the old German beer halls. You know, a lot of people don't. You didn't get a space like this either, and so that's awesome. You guys kind of fell into this, right?
It is kind of weird how since I've worked here, I've been to an amazing amount of breweries, and it's rare to see a space like this.
Yeah.
Very rare to see a space like this.
Yeah, and again, when I planned the show up here, I wanted to bring like Dee and Brendan. Pat's been up here with me more, but Dee and Brendan hadn't really got to experience Milwaukee per se. So I wanted to bring them up, and there was just certain places I knew I wanted to go, and you guys were definitely one of them because I was amazed the first time I walked in the door, and that was years ago. So I knew that coming up here, I was like, whether we get a show with them or not, we're going to Lakefront to drink because they have great beer. It's an amazing facility. It's a must stop if you come visit Milwaukee. You have to. If you don't go anywhere else, you've got to get to Lakefront just for the experience and to drink the beer and now the food. And it's just the whole package. It's the whole experience. You guys offer all of it in one location. It's fantastic. Just love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
I am curious, though. You guys said that you acquired the building. They were going to tear it down, right?
Yes.
So what was it previously? Do you know?
We're basically the third owner. It was originally built as a power plant.
Okay.
Back around 1908. And then the city took it over for the forestry department, who sold it to us.
Interesting.
Yeah, the building started out to be it's a power plant to run the original streetcars.
Oh.
Back in the day. So all the power was generated here. It was sent up to the bridge right to our right.
Yeah.
And then it ran all the streetcars.
Interesting. That's pretty awesome.
Oh,
I love history.
So
I do too.
What do we want to? I see something.
Yeah, we
Brennan's Brennan's drooling.
Yeah, I'm drooling a little bit.
We have
and stouts and I love dark beer. Port stouts and porters, and then when you start, imperializing them, put them in the barrels, and they just start getting more wonderful. So.
And that's what Russ says. Imperialize it. And there's lightning that comes out of his fingers.
But we were talking, Jordan, you were talking about the Black Friday. I didn't really, these guys you guys had you originated, right? So this is your thing, Black Friday.
This is, I always refer to it as the gold standard of beer releases. Every Black Friday, every day after Thanksgiving, we release what we call Black Friday, Circle R. And now we have a few different variants of Black Friday. We have a barley wine. We have what do we have here? A big fruit cake that we did last year.
We got one of those too.
Hey.
Yo. And then we also have a vertical, which is I think 2015, 16, and 17, which makes up the Triple X that we sold back in 2016, I think, or 17. So yeah, we'll pop these open, and they're all big and warm and
years old and sitting
years
there.
Old and sitting
That's
there.
a beautiful way to finish out a show.
I kind of like it.
Yeah,
So-
it's a big blankie for your taste buds.
All right, let's get this thing going.
So
He at least pre-cut off all the wax, and how many bottles do you of the variant do you end up doing?
Last year we did about 8,000 bottles
Wow.
for the day, and that seems about what we sell, and so that's what we're actually planning this year. We're going to try a drive-by Black Friday, but typically last year I came at 4:30 in the morning, and we already had like 200 people here standing in line, and it's quite the festive atmosphere, so to speak, out in the line, and how everybody what they bring along with them to share.
Oh yeah.
It's a very sharing crowd.
Oh, yes.
Out here.
So what's the price point on the release?
$20 a bottle.
Oh, that's awesome.
Definitely not bad.
And so to me, it's an honest price.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
Yeah.
We have, and last year we had a limit of 8. We have 4 different variants, 2 of each, that you could get.
Oh, okay.
And we had a lot of fun in the parking lot, and everybody got their beer, and it's been a great time.
It smells like heaven. Now, are you using the cask a certain place for the bourbon? Your cask, or
Yeah, we have it in a warehouse. They all age.
okay.
Well, are they like Buffalo
Are
Trace,
they-
or are you using a
just getting
certain
it from
vendor?
wherever?
We have the barrel broker here in Milwaukee, and what he gives us, but it's usually a top shelf
Okay.
bourbon
Yep.
that we have.
That's like the third time I've heard the barrel broker.
Yes, there is the
I
barrel
feel like
broker
I want to
here.
meet this guy.
There's yeast brokers, there's barrel brokers, and there's hop brokers now. Everybody's got a job.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is Black Friday from 2019.
Fantastic.
It's good.
It's wonderful.
Is there coconut in there?
Oh, it's so boozy.
I don't believe there's any coconut, but there is coconut, like kind of a vibe there.
I'm getting dark
There's
chocolate.
cherry.
That's the imperialness of it. That's just the
Yeah.
booze.
Yeah.
I thought I wasn't sure because I got like a coconut feel to it, but not overpowering. And then I got the roastiness. So good.
And I know you're not a big dark beer guy, but what are your thoughts?
It's different. I mean, it's not bad. It's again, no. I mean, it's
We got to quote that. We got to put that on next year's bottle.
Don't put that in a
It's
bottle.
different.
Quote, it's not bad.
It's not bad, but you can dance to it.
yeah, right. I'm one of these guys, and I know I'm unique this way. I like my stuff like cold. I know certain beers aren't supposed to be drank cold,
Yeah.
but I love my stuff really cold. That's just me. And I know dark beers.
Well,
are
Brendan
really-
will take your glass from you.
But it's not bad. It's
So
tolerable.
just so you guys know, D he's
new.
He's a guest on the show this
He's new
weekend.
to
So
beer.
he's just started learning the craft scene.
I'm still picking up on. Yeah, I didn't start drinking beer until I was 27. I was all about the hard stuff.
It was cocaine up until then.
Yeah.
Well, no, it wasn't cocaine, but it was straight everything. Anything you put in front of me in college days, I was drinking it straight. Anything you put in front of me, mixed drinks, straight stuff, I didn't care, whatever it was. But I didn't like beer. And then my brother-in-law introduced me to Coors Light, which I know Coors Light to a lot of people, but that's what he started me on. So I'm still learning.
We all
the
started
ins and
somewhere bad.
outs.
We all started somewhere bad, and then we learn.
But I really like sours. I'm really big on the sour beers.
Nice.
I like good sours. And good amber is not bad. But the dark beers, I just have never been able to stomach dark beers as well as the lighter ones. So
All right, then hand that over.
you want it?
The thing with the temperature on beers, I have found that if you have to drink something cold, that means it's not necessarily a good beer.
Yeah.
Because
Is that the-
cold is really numbing
You're
your
taking the
your
flavor
taste
away.
buds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't-
When something warms up, or at least warms up to a temperature that like this, which is probably around 50 or 60 degrees, you really taste what's there. And if you really taste what's there in a Coors Light, you're probably not going to like it.
Oh no, I don't want my Coors Light to get warm. Trust me. No. I don't like get, and I mean I'm okay with it.
Nobody's
I'm
tasting a
mediocre.
Coors Light. They're
But
just
Getting drunk.
but the nice thing about the other ones that I've had so far, I like the fact that I don't like the aftertaste of stuff in any drink, and none of those have that. None of the other ones have that aftertaste. A lot of times you have that after. thing
it's
going
called
on.
Coors Light.
Dude,
No.
you threw them a huge compliment there, and you didn't even know it.
No, I'm serious. Like most beers have something, and theirs just go down really
With
smooth.
a nice dry finish.
Yes, and I like that
Yes.
a lot.
Yeah.
He just doesn't know the terminology, but yes, he was actually complimenting them.
Yes.
Yes, it's a compliment, definitely.
This is
Yeah,
this is
so
fantastic.
Black Friday is it's a very, very special beer.
It's delicious.
It's something that's very reverent to us, and we have we don't have it here on the table, unfortunately, but we have a 5-year that's been aged in barrels for 5 years,
Oh.
and a lot of beer geeks out there will probably say any beer that's aged over 3 years is crap. But this, the depth of flavor, it's we had a group of journalists last year come in and try our 5-year, and none of them described it as a beer. A lot of them described it as an experience
Really?
or drinking a memory. It was, it would go in your mouth like a aged Scotch, almost like it was just smoke. It was just
You're killing us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Where's that bottle at?
Well, I think a
we're
bottle that comes close to that is the bottle that I'm opening
Okay.
now, which is Black Friday Triple X. It's a vintage vertical, which is I think is 2015, 2016, 2017.
Okay.
How do you
That
decide
we-
what's going to do what your Black Friday beer is? And how do you come up with that? What's your decision? And this is going to be this is what I'm doing this year.
Well, this year, I mean, for years now, we've always done the bourbon barrel aged stout.
Okay.
That's kind of our mainstay. And then Russ has been pushing us to do variants of that style, kind of playing off of what Goose Island has done with Bourbon County.
Okay.
I'll
And
take
so
this over
we
bourbon,
have done stuff that's more more fruit forward, like the fruit cake that's right here.
Okay.
We have done a Black Friday barley wine, which barley wines are number one. We do really, really well.
Really?
And number two, they're really good anyway. I mean, it's kind of one of those beers that's hard to screw up.
Yes.
So yeah, we've this year we have our barley wine. This year we also have a Christmas ale that has some of that holiday spice in there, and that hopefully when people buy it on Black Friday, they will drink it around the holidays. It's good to go.
I can't do barley wine. I don't know what it is. Barley wine's not my thing at all. That's one of the few I just can't deal with now.
I'm going to have to find someone, Milwaukee by proxy, to come over here for me on Black Friday and get us some bottles.
Doesn't your uncle live up here?
He does, but I don't think I want to ask my older uncle to come stand in a very long line to pick me up a bottle of booze.
Or
this
we
year
could come up and do it.
I know some people.
I can't.
I do know some people.
This year is very well, quote unquote, special year of 2020. People will be ordering these and paying for them online this year, which is very different from coming here and doing the work of standing in line.
Can you
But
ship?
You'll be able to order them online and then just show up with your car.
And they bring
and
them to you.
You'll pick time, so you won't have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning
I was going to say, how are they going to
and
do
come
that?
down
'Cause,
here. But
Yeah.
they'll pick
like
a
a
time,
nightmare.
like a time frame, and we'll set up like 15 cars for 15 minutes. And so we'll be able to handle that load, hopefully. And as cars come by, we'll give them what they ordered, and they'll drive off, and everyone's happy.
All right.
All right, yeah. This is breaking news. You guys heard it first.
Right,
We haven't told anybody else.
Yeah, we have not marketed this idea
Oh, really?
yet, but yeah, it will be available in a very different way this year.
But as innovators, you came up with a way to get it out there still. And
All I did was smell it, and I'm in love. I didn't even get to taste
Now
it yet.
this again is our this is no longer available. This is our Triple X that we had years ago. That was again a vertical of our 2015, 2016, 2017 Black Friday. Aged in barrels as long, and we blended it together and sold it as our very first variant of Black Friday.
I get some huge chocolate notes off that.
yeah,
Just
Yeah,
delicious.
it's like a dark chocolate bar.
Holy cow,
almost get dark
that
chocolate.
is-
Almost
This
get
is
like-
spectacular.
The aroma is
I
as
get
good
like
as the
current.
flavor.
Yes, definitely nose heavy too. Just wow.
Now you have to
Poor
appreciate that. No,
It's better. It's getting better.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. No,
You're
it's
getting
better.
there.
It's
It's
getting
getting
better.
there.
I'm not a really big dark chocolate fan, unfortunately.
compared
I
to
like-
Olympia,
I'm more
not
of a milk
bad.
chocolate. I know a lot of people, but I know those people like dark chocolate, but I've never been able to acquire a taste for the dark chocolates. So that's just me.
You're trying.
All right, D. At the
Well,
next,
you keep trying. Don't worry.
when we get to the next place today, I'll get you a Coors Light and
hush.
a shot of.
I don't think they have
know.
Coors Light.
Get you a
at that
Coors
bar.
Light and a Hershey bar.
See, I almost get like currant or cranberry off of this. The dryness. It's
There's the
with
dark,
dark
there's
chocolate,
little
Yeah,
bit.
I
I'm
often
getting
get
a
a
little bit
cherry.
cherry. I get
Mhm.
yeah. Wow, that's awesome. It's wonderful.
of a little something, a dark fruit note. I don't get the cherry, but that's usually most everything I have with cherry in is going to be as a tart, of some kind. There is a fruit there, but
It's kind of ludicrous though to think that this is $20.
Yeah.
I mean,
This
you
is
have-
honestly this is worth a lot
that's
more.
That's pretty cheap.
There's a lot of breweries out there, Top of Goliath or whatnot that
Dark Side was it?
That would sell
Dark Side?
sell this liquid for $80.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, easy.
So we have a couple yearly releases similar to this at home. And I shouldn't say similar to this. That's not a fair description, but they sell it the same way you guys do. And I think we pay $30 for it. The beer brewery release.
So,
I think it's $30 for the barrel aged, and then they have a separate one that's not barrel aged.
Sanitarium.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would pay $50 a bottle for this easy, hands down,
Easy.
without a question.
Yeah.
It's something that this comes from Russ. Again, I'll talk about Russ. He's the biggest concern that he has, and it often conflicts with us marketing guys. The biggest concern that he has is that everyone gets a shot at it, that everyone can try it, which is.
So you want to make it affordable enough that everybody gets a chance to try it. Is that the kind of the?
It is. I mean, to me, that's one of the wonderful things about beer. You talk about world class, and anybody can afford this.
Yes.
And that's the thing. I mean, if you look at world class like wine, and it's like how much you have to spend to find
Thousands.
Yeah. Thousands.
Right.
Nobody can afford that. But this is world class, beer, and where you can go home, you can taste it as just the exact same depth of flavor as any wine bottle would have.
And you can share it with your friends.
You can share it with your friends, and you can take it, and it's an exceptional treat. And you say, even if it's $50, $100, it's still.
Right.
It's still something you can go and you can talk about, and you can learn and you experience, and that's the beautiful thing about these.
And I think that again just shows how much you guys aren't just in the industry for the almighty dollar. You're here because of the passion and how much you love doing this, and that really shows through here where you have a beer that you could easily charge $50 for, but you put $20 on it because you want people to have the opportunity to drink it and share it and
the
enjoy
marketing
it.
guy wants to, but but Russ won't let him.
It would be nice because it would show up as a big boost to our bottom line, which I think would be a big boost to my bottom line. But yeah, I think the phrase "of the people"
very much
rings very, very true at Lakefront.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's also, you said world class, but if you read it the other way, class is that's having some class that you still offer it, and you're not gouging the people for $50-$80 for a bomber, because we've seen those, and they're out there, they're all over the place,
but this one's worth it.
But
sometimes there's a difference
but
there.
It's still good stuff. No, but some of them are worth it, but they know it, so they charge it, but that's getting, you guys are still staying of the people. And still letting the people have an affordable brew at world-class style. It's spectacular. I like the honesty and the integrity of that.
That flows throughout the organization.
Right.
Have you got Tavor? Have you guys gotten any of your beers
Never
on
seen Tavor.
It's a
national
distributing, but it's one of the best
services. So
it's very cool. But I didn't know if you guys are on there yet or not. They distribute all over the country, but it's not one of those. They send you a 6-pack. You get to choose, and if you don't buy beer that month, you don't.
Every day they offer at least like 2 beers from somewhere. So if you put when you register for the app, it's your zip code, and then they'll find you beers not in your zip code.
Right on.
And they are constantly pulling in, like we get beers from Alaska and California, and it's not a beer of the month. They offer them up if you want to buy some of them, and you just keep adding them to a crate, and then at the end of the month, the crate ships for, if you buy enough, it's free.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's $15 for however many, you get a whole crate. Last shipment I had was like 30 beers because I was bored and kept buying them. But you literally can buy them right away.
Which company is it?
It's called Tavour, Tavour.
Very cool.
Yeah, but they're really good about
I don't know.
They handle all the shipping and stuff. So I didn't know if you guys had your beers there that are getting maybe shipped out, on services like that, because
it's a service that offers you the ability to get beers in a location you normally wouldn't be able to.
Yep.
And I don't know how they do it, but they somehow
are
able to do it.
Out of Seattle, but
they have a lot of they have to deal with a lot of the same laws and all that, but they work their magic, and they slowly grow. Some states they can't ship to because.
Are you guys in Indiana? I guess that's a question. I'm not sure you got
Cavalier Distributing.
Okay.
Cavalier. Okay,
Cavalier,
there we
right.
go. Because I thought I saw it somewhere once, but it wasn't. Cavalier doesn't deliver to all the liquor stores right around us, though. They have a few, so that's probably. I need to find out which liquor stores they're going to, and I can find it.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yep.
Definitely.
We have several distributors, so.
Got Lakefront on the bottle. You can pick it up and gonna get good beer.
Yes, absolutely. If you're listening to this and you go to a liquor store and you see Lakefront, A, let us know where you bought it.
Yeah.
B, just pick it up. Yeah. Don't even worry about what style it is. Grab it. You will enjoy it.
So, gentlemen, thank you for taking your time today. We really appreciate it. That's what when we do this, it's to talk to you guys and get some knowledge, get some history, get some of your information, and just it helps us grow. It helps us learn more about the styles, learn more about why people do what they do, and this has been a blast.
Absolutely. And again, we do this because we love the craft too. We're not brewers ourselves. We're novice home brewers here and there, but we enjoy the craft. We appreciate everything you guys do every day and how hard you work, and we always want to be able to support you guys in your endeavors as well, and do our part to help you get your name out there and help spread the word. So,
well, great thing. Thank you for coming in.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you for the
guys.
beers and
yes, thank you very much.
The good macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, we're
delicious.
Did we miss anything? Is there anything else?
Yeah, what do you guys? What are the hours? What's anything coming up?
Well,
plug away.
Lately, our hours have been ever changing.
Yes.
We're trying we're trying to expand that. We actually just got approval of our COVID plan, and I believe that we are one of the most conservative restaurant brewery establishments around. We protect our patrons, and we will continue that until this whole thing is past us, and we can get back to tours. We can get back to Friday night fish fries with the polka band and dancing and everything. But we are very grateful for folks like you and for your listeners. It's bottom line, it comes down to it's beer.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
good beer.
It's we're not saving the world. We're not trying to figure out nuclear science. We make beer.
Yeah, bringing people together. Beer.
Yeah,
beer works for that.
Excellent. Amen. Again, thank you guys, and cheers.
And cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Thank you for coming.
Met you in a haze of days, a deja vu, blazing down the avenue, trying to make a buck or two. You said you had nothing to lose, amazed I knew you were telling truth, so we blamed the days and drove out towards something new. Live on a holiday stay. What we grew in the fields is what we ate. Wasn't enough to satiate the hunger in our souls, so I drank the blended cactus and you set up home, well, caught a bus back home with a tale to total town. Glassy eyes and a darkened mind, he sat completely paralyzed, like a ghost who'd lost his grip upon the ground. But life's a big old bitch when you see it transfixed on the pain of the past. Not a hint of progress, it's a comedy. It's a scar on your wrist when you're dipping everywhere you go on your regrets. They say you'll be dead if you can't get rid of all that shit that spins around in your head. If you don't wanna be another throwaway kid, gotta buy yourself a steak, got deodorant. But it's so hard letting it go. You keep getting visions of the old man road.